Alex, I see a Jeep and I see an off-road trail. What are we doing today?
Yeah, well, a couple weeks ago, I bought a new Wrangler. This is my 2024 Jeep Wrangler Sport S, and it's in basically bone stock form right now. I have some big plans for this, and we need to set a baseline. All right, well, we've got our first little water crossing here.
I think it's the only water crossing.
Well, it's also the first.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You think your Jeep's gonna short out?
No, hopefully not. It is pretty low to the ground right now. There's a lot of sensors. We did actually, before we started rolling cameras, it said blind spot unavailable. So
yeah.
I don't know if that's the
before
dust.
we even hit the water.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow, so who knows what's gonna happen now? Really tempting fate.
Yeah, made it through that, no problem though.
No, this thing's fine.
All right, so for tires, this Jeep came on some Nexen Rodian ATX tires. They're 245/70 R17, and these are going away soon. I haven't exactly decided on what tire I'm going to put on this Jeep. I might go with some Falcon Wild Peaks because I have them on my Ram 2500 and I really like them, but any suggestions are welcome. I think I'm gonna go with a 35, and I already have a Clayton 1.5-inch ride right lift kit sitting in my garage, so that'll round out the whole package. Some Fox 2.0 shocks will go on it, and I'll be much more ready to tackle some trails after that.
Let me take a minute to tell you about this video's sponsor, Granger Motors, and their extended factory warranties for new Ford, Ram, Jeep, Dodge, and Chrysler vehicles. Let's face it, guys, the new cars and trucks coming out pack pretty amazing, but also very complex and untested tech. And because of it, an extended factory warranty is worth considering the next time you buy a new vehicle. But did you know that you can buy an extended factory warranty from any dealership? Yep, you can buy your new car or truck from your local dealership, but buy an extended factory warranty from Granger Motors and save an average of $1,300 off the list price. Granger can do this because they're the #1 seller of Ford Protect warranties and one of the top sellers of Mopar vehicle protection warranties in the whole country. So contact Granger Motors the next time you buy a new car or truck and buy yourself some peace of mind.
All right, so the Jeep right now is basically in bone stock form. There's a couple things I did right away when I got it. Put these Carhartt seat covers on because I have a messy dog, and then I also added this Best Top Sunrider for hardtop so that I can enjoy the open air when I'm out on the trail. That's all I've done to it so far. I already talked about the wheels and tires I'm gonna do in the lift kit. Eventually it'll get some skid plates. It desperately needs some sliders, and then from there, I'll just see what I need as the trails start getting harder. If I find out I eventually want to throw a locker in it, maybe I'll do that. But stage one's gonna kind of be tires, wheels, lift, and some skid plates and some armor. We're calling this kind of a cheap Jeep, and might seem like a cheap Jeep when you look at the base price of $31,995, but total price was over $52,000. And believe it or not, this was one of the cheapest two-door Wranglers that was sitting on the dealership lot when I went. There was one that was like a little cheaper in a terrible color. But I've got some good things to go off-road, so it's spec'd with the 3.6-liter Pentastar V6, 8-speed automatic transmission. I know some people are gonna say I probably should have went with the manual, but I wanted something easy to drive off-road and something that I could daily and throw friends in and not really worry about. It is loaded up with a lot of packages, so there's like a preferred package, which gives you heated seats, leather-wrapped steering wheel, keyless entry, all that kinds of stuff. We have LED headlights, convenience group, safety group. The automatic transmission is a $4,500 option. The hardtop is a $1,700 option. So tons and tons of options on here. This is pretty much a base Jeep, but it's loaded up to the moon with pretty much everything you could put on a base Jeep. So $52 is the sticker price. I was able to work that price down a decent amount from there, but it is a little crazy that $52,000 is one of the cheapest two-door base model Jeeps they have on the lot in 2024. All right, so not much driving to get back here, but we did make it to our Cliffhanger 1.0 trail. And this has gotten a lot gnarly over the years since I started coming here.
Yeah, I mean, for something as capable as this is straight out of the box, this is going to be relatively easy, but there are some pretty considerable ruts, and we'll have you go up this in such a way as to make it as difficult as possible, because we want to have you hanging your tires, getting fully articulated, and maybe even see how the traction control system does on this, because this being a Sport S, we don't have a rear locker, it's open diffs.
Yeah, totally open diff, no lockers front or rear, but the modern Jeeps have some advanced traction control systems, brake lock, that kind of thing. So yeah, we'll see what it can do. We'll throw it into low range and start climbing our way up the hill. And again, Jeep's in bone stock form right now, and the second I get it lifted on some good tires, we're gonna bring it back up here and see just how much quicker we can make it up here, and yeah, how much harder of a line we can take.
Yeah, we can see how much of a difference a lift in tires makes. But as mild as this hill looks on camera, it is actually surprisingly difficult, especially toward the top. So let's see how it does.
Yeah, it's also really loose right now. We haven't gotten a lot of rain.
Super dry.
Yeah, so normally there's a big water hole right there. That's completely dried up. So a lot of dirt, might get some spinning tires. Let's see what happens. All right, well, I am going to put it into neutral and go into low range here. I don't have the 4 auto on my Jeep. Some of the newer Jeeps come with the 4 auto setting. But yeah, we're in 4 low. Should be able to start climbing up. There's some pretty thick roots over here on the right side. So I'm gonna try put my tires right on them at the bottom here, and then we'll make sure we get over this big mound towards the top. See how close we get to scraping the bottom. I don't have any sliders on this, and I really don't want to put any big damage in it before I do. Right now is where some lockers normally would be engaged. I don't have those, so we're just relying on the traction control, keeping it pretty steady in the throttle. And it's making it up, a little bit of teeter-tottering back and forth as the traction control tries to figure itself out. That feels so tippy, Kase.
Huh?
That feels very bad.
It's a little bit tippy. You're obviously short wheelbase in this vehicle, but I think you're okay.
I don't like that.
Hey, it's your Jeep. It ain't worth breaking for a video.
If this weren't my brand new Jeep that I just paid a bunch of money for, I'd probably be willing to push it a little more. I literally have 1,000 miles on it, so we're not trying to take it too insane.
There you go. There you go. Nice.
Sweet. So yeah, little more confidence I'd have if I had some lockers. It's just a little terrifying having to keep your foot in the throttle constantly and wait for things to start to happen. But we made it up. And I think if I had some more skid protection, or maybe a better spotter, sorry, Kase, I would be a little more confident bringing it up a little bit of a harder line. Not worth the damage though. Kase and I are good friends though, so I'm allowed to give him a lot of crap for his spotting. And that's the thing with the short wheelbase is, yes, it's really maneuverable. You can get into some tight spots that you wouldn't be able to in some other vehicles, but then again, your chances of tipping over or feeling uncomfortable are a lot higher because, you know, it's just a more tippy vehicle. I will say my other vehicle is a Ram 2500, and I've taken that off-road a good bit. I have it lifted, I have it on 37s, and that is just a totally different experience to off-road. Woo! Look at that. This I can actually see out of, whereas my truck I can't see a damn thing. But with this, especially with the roof off and you know, the flat windshield, the windows open, visibility out of this is just so good. So even if I'm not super sure where a tire is, it doesn't take much moving around to really get it proper. And as always, this video is made possible by our friends at Onyx Off-Road. Check them out using the link in the description below, and it all integrates the CarPlay. So I've got this massive touchscreen on my new Jeep, and I can see exactly where I'm at. I've even got this trail saved. And they've got all different kinds of maps here. You can, you know, mark your location, track everything you're doing. Check out Onyx if you never want to get lost off-road.
How do you feel about the stock ride quality, Alex?
You know, we didn't air down at all, and it's a little rough. It probably would be a lot better if we aired down a little bit.
Always,
but
yeah.
We're doing, you know, a quick off-roading trip here, so don't have time to air up and air down. It's a two-door Jeep, you know, it rides like a two-door Jeep. It's a front axle. It's not amazing, but you know, I kind of like that it's not amazing. I didn't want a boring car to be like my commuter car. I like that this drives like a truck and it rides kind of rough. And when you get it off-road, it feels solid. That's what I wanted out of kind of a daily driver, which is mainly what this is for me. It's not really an off-road rig as much as it is an on-road rig.
Well, and look, it's not like a YJ. I mean, it rides okay, especially if you're on an average road. It feels pretty much fine. And I'm kind of with you. I like the feeling of a vehicle that's on solid axles because it feels like something that is purpose-built to be more rugged, to articulate, to be solid. And, you know, obviously the new Broncos have plenty of articulation with independent front suspension, but there's something about that feel of a solid axle vehicle. It just feels different from your average everyday RAV4 or CRV, a vehicle that objectively drives better on road. There's no doubt about it. But that solid axle feeling does make this feel like a more substantial vehicle.
Yeah, every time I hit a bump, I'm reminded that I'm in a Jeep, and I'm reminded that, hey, if I want to pull off the road and do that trail I just passed, probably could do it.
And some people hate that, which is fair, because it's objectively solid axle ride quality is just not the best. But I'm with you. I like the feeling of solid axles.
Yeah, and it's still, I mean, it's got all the modern touches in here. Like the radio's good. I've got heated steering wheel, heated seats, automatic climate controls. So even though it rides a little rough, like I don't feel like I'm missing any features that I would get out of, you know, a regular car if I wasn't going to buy a Jeep. So yeah, it's still got all the convenience things on the road, and yeah, I'm liking it.
Well, and here's the thing too, once this is lifted, we're gonna see if the ride quality really improves at all, because obviously a lot of people modify these Jeeps. Kind of hard to have a Jeep and keep it stock.
Yep.
So once we have the suspension on this, then we can bring it back to this exact same trail and we can see how it rides by comparison.
Exactly. Yeah, like I said, the Clayton off-road lift kit is sitting in my garage right now, and that's supposed to, from all the reviews I've seen, ride pretty nice. So
yeah, it sounds like there's maybe a little noise in the front end that you want to get fixed before we modify the suspension.
Yeah, for some reason I'm having like a little bit of a weird clank when I am parked and I put it into drive and pull away. It seems like there's a clank coming from the axle somewhere in the front driver's side. But yeah, get that looked at and then throw some parts on so they don't question whether or not it was the lift that started that clanking noise.
If any of you out there have dealt with a similar sound on a newer JL Wrangler, let us know. Any direction that we can give is always welcome. But that's pretty much it for this video. And actually, fun fact, whenever we do the suspension, I think Alex is going to bring it over to my house.
Exactly. We're gonna buy this guy a case of beers and he's gonna help me put a lift on my Jeep.
Exactly. So we'll have that to look forward to. Let us know what you all think down in the comments below. If you got tire suggestions, anything, yeah, we're open ears.
Thanks for watching. Check out alltfl.com. Check out our Patreon page. That's always linked down below. We'll see you in the next video.